Good morning, everybody. Mike Vacchi, PrincetonTrader.com here for NTMarkets.com with your Friday morning pre-market webcast. Okay, so what have we been discussing for the last week or so? We're talking about how tight these Bollinger Bands are, how compressed the volatility is, and how there's going to be a big directional move. But when you're trading around the middle band, which direction becomes very iffy. We have broken to the downside. We're beginning to expand to the downside. And the other thing I mentioned was that typically the lower band, the 2 standard deviation band, is where you start to look to buy, to fade it back long. And I said yesterday, if you do that, you're going to get run over. And you could have done that at 1673, and you would not have been having a very good day at all. So you have to always look at the big picture when you're talking about Bollinger Bands. Are the bands wide to the point where when you get to the band, is it an extended move, or are the bands so tight that it doesn't matter? In this case, the bands are so tight, it just doesn't matter. That second band was insignificant. And we continue to go. We punched through the 3rd standard deviation band, which was not really a big deal either, because 2 days ago it was sitting at 1670. So now you see price here. We are back inside the 3rd band. The 2nd band is acting as resistance. Very similar to the move I showed you yesterday, way back over here. Remember I said don't be this guy? Because if you're this guy, then you end up here, and now we're here. Okay, so we're hanging out up in this area. I would expect the same kind of trade up here in and around the 3rd standard deviation band. One of two things is going to happen. We're either going to reverse really hard back inside the bands, or we're going to continue to expand downward. Okay? If we continue to expand downward, and that's the way I'm leaning. I'm not looking at Wile E. Coyote off the cliff, but I am looking at least 1 more to 2 more red days here. And the zone I gave you guys last week is still legitimate. It's the 38 to 50% retracement of this smaller level right here in the box. Okay? Because when you zoom out, here's a gigantic uptrend that we retraced 38% of. We then went up to make new highs. At this point, we haven't even retraced 38% of this smaller move. So that, you've got to keep it in perspective. Yes, it's a big down day. It wasn't even 2% down, but for this market, that's a big down day. Okay? But don't be surprised if we extend a little further down into this box, and we'll reevaluate it then. So can you be long here? Sure. You can be long. You can be long with a stop at the lows, but you've got to understand that you are trying to pick a bottom. And sometimes that works really well, and sometimes it doesn't. But you've got to understand where you are, because you don't really have any support to lean on until we get down to some of these fib levels. You're underneath the moving average. You're below the band. You got the 3rd standard deviation band underneath you. So maybe that's maybe that's your area. And if that is your area, then you're looking at somewhere in the area 1650 to 1651. I would argue that that is so close to this fib that we're going to go touch it down at 47. So 47 is the first real level that you can really lean on and call support. So can you long it? Sure, but you better understand where you are on the chart, which is 10 handles before really significant support. Can you short this down here? You can. I am small short, not even a full position size, from up at 1660. But I understand where I am on the chart, which is very extended to the downside. I'm looking to grab this next exhaustion move down and get out. Am I looking for 30 handles? No. I'm looking for maybe 8. Okay? So you've got to keep it in perspective. Yesterday was the big move. Can we get another big flush move down? Absolutely. Could the Bears drop the soap and we rip 20 handles? Yeah. They're really good at that. So just be careful today. Be careful today. It's a summer Friday. Just be careful. And the fact that it's a summer Friday is already advantage bulls. So be careful. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. I'll be back Monday morning with another webcast. Trade them well, everybody.